Welcome back. DA with you here on CBS Sports Radio. Thanks so much for being with us, everybody. As always, you can take us with you wherever you go by downloading the CBS Sports app, the radio.com app, or listen to us on Apple Music. Watch us as well wherever you go on any device using watchda.com. Our next guests, it's a tandem, father and son, and this is so cool. I'm so excited, is a family that right now has the spotlight on them for all of the right reasons. Shaquem Griffin was born, and he did not have a full left hand. And eventually, his hand had to be amputated, and he has risen through college football, a superstar at UCF, and then drafted this year by the Seattle Seahawks, and is now playing alongside his brother with the Seahawks. And so Shaquem and his father, Terry, join us here on the show, and they are working in tandem with Gillette that understands, just like the Griffin story, your best never comes easy. Shaquem, Terry, good morning. How you guys doing?
All right, and yourself? I'm good.
Well, I'm great, and thank you so much for joining us. And this is such a thrill to have you guys here on the show. Shaquem, I want to start with you. You know, you wrote something very inspirational, I thought. You said, my story isn't sad. It's just my story. And I just thought that was such a cool way to frame it. You know, did you learn that perspective the hard way growing up, or did you just kind of always have that perspective when you were young? Don't feel bad for me. This is just who I am.
Yeah, that's something that I took with me ever since I was young. I mean, it kind of emphasized everything that I was about, and Gillette does a really good job of showcase that to the world. And for me, it was just me doing everything that I always was taught to do. You know, it was just me being caught in the act of being myself. And that's just me working hard and me wanting to accomplish the goal just like anybody else. And obviously when you want to accomplish something, you got to put the work in to do so. And sometimes you got people trying to accomplish that same goal, you got to work harder than them. And that's something that my dad always taught us is if you want to be the best, you got to work harder than the rest.
Terry, I want to ask you, what Shaquem just said there, was that your message to the boys growing up, or did you have a unique message to Shaquem knowing what he was going to have to deal with as he was young and growing up? Was that a unique message to him, or you just kind of, whatever was going to happen to your boys, you were going to be consistent in what you were going to teach them?
My whole thing was, you know, I was trying to raise providers. And this NFL thing came down the road. Put in the work. Anything you want in life, you can get it. You just got to work for it. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. You know, and making sure they understand that, you know, a negative feeds positive. You know, if you go out there and take the negative off your battery in your car, the car is not going to start. So it's always positive. You know, we need the negative. So everybody going to always say what you can't do, but you're going to show it to them. You're going to constantly show it to them. And don't get comfortable. Show them what you can do. Hard work pays off.
Man, I really love that symbolism. Life is full of positive and negative, and you need both of them. That's so cool. Joining us here on the show is the Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin and his dad, Terry. Now, I want to ask Terry, you know, you said you just wanted your sons to be providers. Why was that the priority? Why was that so important to make sure they could develop into being providers?
Because truthfully, is, you know, when you get to that point in your life where, you know, your kids are gone out the house, you don't want them to come back. I know I didn't want them to come back. You know, if they come to my house, anything bigger than a backpack, I'm going to talk to you through the window. I'm not letting you in. So it's providers. It's, you know, you go out there, you work, you take care of yourself, you take care of your family. You know, don't be lazy. No excuses. Because you have one hand, I don't want to hear that. Because you got one hand. Because if I let you give me excuses, you're going to constantly give me an excuse. Then I got to watch you wear down my couch. No.
I love that. That sounds just like my dad. I totally relate. You know, it's kind of amazing, Shaquem, because you went through tough times at UCF. You've talked about how down you were when you weren't playing, you weren't traveling with the team, and you saw that your brother was. You strike me as a pretty positive guy. What was your key to staying positive through all that when you were not being able to reach your dream?
I mean, it's just the love I have for the game. I think the most part was I wasn't ready to give up something that I worked so hard to get to. And I think is I put in so much time and I stayed focused for so long, and I wanted to be so much more than what everybody thought I was. And I remember just talking to my dad before, and I was just like, I'm not playing, and they're not giving me an opportunity. And I remember he told me, he's like, you know, they might not know your name now, but you know, someday they will. And I was like a sophomore, or a redshirt freshman then, so I didn't really understand what he was saying. But you know, it just, now that I think about now, it's just like, it's crazy how he said that, and it's kind of happening, because I wouldn't have expected it to be like this. I didn't know how hard it was going to be, but I know I wasn't going to give up on myself, because I knew what kind of player I was. I just need to show everybody else who I was, and I just needed that one little opportunity, that one window to kind of showcase that. And you know, once Coach Frost came and he allowed me to do so, you know, I took the opportunity and I ran with it. And you know, I wasn't going to look back from there, and I'm in the situation that I'm in now.
Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin and his father Terry joins us here on the DA show. I just think it's great, guys. It's a positive, great message. I wonder, Shaquem, how often do you have people reach out to you and call you an inspiration? Maybe it's kids, maybe it's older people, just anybody in general. How often are you approached by people that look at your story and say that you've inspired them?
I mean, I hear from a lot, you know, and I never want anybody to shy away from reaching out to me or trying to say something to me, because I'm always, you know, open arms to anything, and there's always a door open for me to talk. And you know, it's cool to have some of the kids come talk to me, and you know, just want to kind of get things off their chest. I think that's important, is, you know, having somebody to talk to that's kind of going through the same thing, to kind of give them a, you know, a light or a pathway that they kind of take. And my whole thing is, you know, you're gonna have a lot of people in your corner, a lot of people who's gonna be around you who's gonna say what you can't do, and they're gonna feed negativity to you. But you can't let that dictate who you are, and what you're gonna be in life. And the only person who can dictate that is you. You know, you got more than enough opportunities. You got more than enough chances to kind of showcase what you want to do. But it's just when you give in the opportunity and chances, what you're gonna do with it. You're gonna allow somebody to tell you that you're not gonna be able to get something done, or you're gonna take it upon yourself to get it done.
You know, Terry, finally, I want to ask you about your message. You know, no excuses. That no matter what you may think is a negative or a hurdle, it's not an excuse. You got to be a provider. You got to be dependable. You got to work hard. I just think it's such an important message to put out there. Where did you learn that? Did you learn that from your parents? Did you have a teacher or a mentor that taught you that, or did you just kind of develop that mindset yourself?
Well, it was something that I developed. I didn't meet my pops till I was 28, and my wife made me do that. It's just a drive. You know, you can. Every man want their kids to have a piece of them. So you know, it's that drive within myself. I wanted, you know, this is what I do, so I know y'all can do it. You know, when your kids come to you and like, you know, it's the middle of the week. Dad, I got this project, you know, I have to do, and I got to have it in by Friday. You know, I'm gonna, you know, fuss a little bit, you know, but we're gonna go get that stuff that you need to do that project, and I'm gonna help you with it. So it's, you know, it was, you know, you want to pass that down, you know, from your kids to your grandkids, you know.
That's awesome. Shaquem Griffin and his dad Terry joining us here on the show. Football has always been a game of big dreams where you got to work hard, big commitments from its players. And you know what? You might not realize the challenges that come along with each player as they fight for being their best on the field. And certainly Shaquem Griffin embodies that. Gillette understands your best never comes easy. Love and support from a dad or a parent can just be the encouragement that a son needs to overcome maybe what looked like is an insurmountable obstacle. So it is so cool to have Shaquem Griffin of the Seattle Seahawks, the league's first ever one-handed player, and his father, Terry, kind of share their stories of determination, overcoming things. God, this was so cool. I think you guys have an amazing family, an amazing message. I'm really glad you could share it with me and our listeners here on the show. Thank you so much for it, and I appreciate you stopping on by the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Shaquem Griffin and his father, Terry, joining us here on the program. When we come back, we've got your best audio of the day. It's sound check time. DA, CBS Sports Radio, and Andrew Bogish has your headlines.